Hello, and in today's video we're talking about a question we've received. How do I get a new team to buy into a project and start taking ownership? So what would you do? Where would you start with that question?
I would make sure they understand the rules of the game. So what the project is, rules of engagement, how they're going to communicate each other. And that's particularly important when you've got, which is typical in IT, bringing cross-functional teams together. So you may have people that don't ordinarily work with each other. So you may have someone from sales, from the customer services team, products, you may have an engineer in there. So making sure they all understand what part they're playing in that project delivery, timescales, etc., etc.
Yep. Exactly. I think that's, in these situations you're going to kind of phase from perhaps at the beginning you need to tell quite a lot, so teach and explain where things are, and that will continue. Genuinely imagine that will continue throughout the project. So as a leader you're always going to need to be, or expect that you will need to be, providing context, more knowledge, more information, whatever that might be, to make sure that people understand in the team exactly the direction they're going in. The methods for how to do things certainly need to be embedded pretty quickly. If you've got a specific definition of done that you universally use across development teams, for example, or you've got a particular way of handling a system, then don't allow that to be an impediment. Certainly as you're onboarding new people, if you forgot to tell somebody something, make a note of that, make sure that's part of the next person's joining instructions, so that they can navigate your organisation, navigate your team much more quickly once they get there and get on board.
And I think that communication is really important, because what I've seen quite often is that, particularly when you land a contractor in the middle of a team to start driving, you've got a particular expertise in there, is that there's this element of confusion for the first couple of weeks, because you've got no one, almost like taking hold of that and leading that team from the front and sharing as much information as they can, and everyone's in little huddles going, do you know what's going on? No, I don't know what's going on, or such and such hasn't given me that information. So, make sure the team can hit the ground running as quickly and as fast as possible. Yeah.
Just thinking about the team, depending on the makeup, if it's completely new, then the onus for that is going to fall very much on you, the leader, to be able to provide that context, unless you've got other product people or otherwise that can help. If you've got some existing employees in the team, of course, people that have been with you for a while, then you've got a fantastic opportunity for pairing and kind of cross-support that way. Frankly, in whichever team, pairing is a brilliant way of helping people to understand and challenge the value and the quality of the work that's being done in a very positive way, so the outcome is certainly better at the other end. So depending on what levers you've got to pull, using pairing can be incredibly powerful in there. I would also say, so if this is a new team that's forming, one of the things that you need to get to quickly is for it to start feeling like a team, or for the team to feel that way. So a good way to do that is to help publicise and share the successes that the team have, especially early on. So they have achieved, we have achieved, lots of collective group language to help the team start to get some identity and feel like they absolutely own the outcomes that are coming from the group.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than seeing, you're in your project team meeting, which happens once a month, and you've just all been shouted at because it's not working or something's gone wrong. Actually, if you're prepared for that meeting, you've had the conversations up front, you've been open and honest with each other, you've celebrated the quick wins whilst going on that journey. You need to keep people motivated. You need to, as a leader, keep people on track and on board with everything throughout. And at times it can be really difficult, particularly if the goalposts sometimes change in a project.
Yeah.
It happens quite frequently. Or customers had an idea, let's go this way. So keeping the team on track is quite key.
You could certainly also watch the first video in this series as well, where we talked about communicating a vision.
Absolutely.
For some more tips about how to get across the different types of people in your team.
Yeah. Great, thank you very much for your question. If you have any comments you'd like to share or would like us to talk about one of your questions, please pop a comment below, get in touch with us via message or email. More than happy to have a chat. But in the meantime, thanks very much.